I would like to continue in the halachas which we up to. The zman adluka, and how long does it need to burn? And then Mimei Tisha will go to the halachas also of, which is the most important halachas of Hanukkah. People go away where to sin, going for Shabbos, going away for a Latkesuvend to New York, etc. Zman adluka. When is the time that you have to send Chanukah licht? Is Mishetishka Chama. That's the second Gemara. Mishetishka Chama, that you have to light Chanukah candles. What does it mean, Mishetishka Chama? So we have a machloikis. Most Rishonim hold it is Shkia Chama. You light when by the Shkia, which is basically the Rashba, the Ram, the Meiri, the Motcha. I would say a big chunk of Rishonim hold by Mishetishka Chama. You light candles. But there's other places which hold is by Tzesek Chama. Tzesek Chuvim. That means when it becomes night. In a Maase, as we pasten is Shechanurach. Shechanurach pasten by the Sof HaShkia. The Mungavrum explains that it is Tzesek Chuvim. Now our minig bepashtes steht as the Rebbe Shmus Eiden, the Rebbe Rashab, sind Chanukah licht by Mincha Lamarav. It doesn't say when. It says by Mincha Lamarav. That means before Ma'ariv. That means before Tzesek Chuvim. That's for sure, because then it's already Ma'ariv. It's Ma Ma'ariv. But now, what is the minig? It's not clear 100% how the minig is. Why? Because there is a machloikas gifa when the Rebbe sinned. Some people told me that the Rebbe used to sin by the Shkia Mamash. But that's impossible because the Rebbe left the house. Some people say by the Shkia. So at least we could say then the Rebbe was in at 5 minutes after the Shkia. And I heard from Reliable Shapiro and other people which said that the Rebbe used to leave about 10 to 15 minutes after the Shkia. And Lamaisa, a lot of Chassidim do sin by the Shkia, and a lot of other Chassidim which are around sin about 15-20 minutes after the Shkia. And this is my meaning, by the way. I also sin about 15-20 minutes after the Shkia. And I built it more or less on the Rebbe Shmus Eiden, the Rebbe Rashab, which writes that the Chanukah licht should stay on for 50 minutes. Now in Shulchan Aruch, Pashtas, the Chanukah licht has to burn half an hour after Tzesek Chuvim. Whatever Tzesek Chuvim is, half an hour. Why is the meaning of 50 minutes? What's the cheshbon for 50 minutes? According to what I say, basically makes a lot of sense. Because 20 minutes, 15-20 minutes, let's say, after the Shkia Hopman gets in then, now you have to have another 20 minutes to Tzesek Chuvim, and then another 30 minutes after Tzesek Chuvim, so then it makes sense 50 minutes. 5 then it makes sense 50 minutes. But again, whatever the minig is, everybody has his minig, should do his minig. But according to the cheshbon from the Rebbe Shmusai, the Rebbe Rashab, 50 minutes, it is about 15-20 minutes. And befrad when I heard for the Reliable Shapiro and other chassidim which I asked, specifically I didn't know, a long time which I wanted to know what, and they told me that they remember the Rebbe used to leave about 10 or 15 minutes after the Shkia. But again, 12
minutes after the Shkia today would be exactly 15 minutes before the Shkia. So
okay, so makes sense.
So that's the goal. To do even minutes before 6.
The goal is what?
If we say our minhag is 50 minutes, where is about 50 minutes? That means 20 minutes before 6.
20 minutes before 6. Exactly.
If I'm lighting at 6,
exactly.
It should be 50 minutes.
No, that's 100% sure. Motzei Shabbos, you don't need to burn 50 minutes. It's not half an hour. Only is a heilig. Yeah. And that's why the Rebbe Shrab by Mincha Lamarav doesn't write by the Shkia. The Chaylik Daf Shrab the Shkia by Mincha Lamarav. Okay. How long does he have to burn? We said Api Alocha, half an hour after Tzesek Chuvim. Our minhag is 50 minutes, and you have to put in oil as much as it could burn that much. If you put in less oil than the size it is, it's a short again. I once had a shaila. A man told me, I realized that when I realized when I getzin lech, after 20, 50 minutes, it's ausgelassen. Now the law is kaufst einzige klar. If you put in enough oil and it's ausgegangen after 10 minutes or after 5 minutes, you don't have to rekindle it because you have the shear. So he tells me, I was wondering why 50 minutes. I put in a lot of oil. Then he realized that the cup, the menorah which he had a hole. So by the time when he sinned, it was dripping already. It got a hole. So he wanted to know what I need to do. I said, you have to sin again. And it was the first night. When the sarang liked enough, it's that's something else. But since you never had the shear of half an hour, so therefore you have to sin again. But if you had put in the oil as much as you need, and it went out, me'ikra din, you don't have to put it on again. From the minhag, you do put it on again. And the Tirzub says when it's Erev Shabbos, is Medina. He wants to say that Medina, if it went out, you have to rekindle it. If it Sechos Galoshen, the Cheshman is says the Samachloike. Says the Barashkal wants to say even Erev Shabbos is also good, but the Tirzub says no. Erev Shabbos is also noch nicht ganz man hat Luka. So if it's Sechos Galoshen, then you have to Medina. You have to put it on again. What? Before the Shkia, obviously, yeah. When is the time that you have to tzin lecht? Is the Gemara says what? The zman is it has to burn half an hour. As I mentioned, when is the time you should sin? We said there is right after the Shkia or the by the Shkia or Batzesek Chuvim. So till when can you sin? Now in Gemara says that means till when people are walking around outside on the street, you could sin lecht. Because after all, there's no persimonista. If you live in Pomona, whatever, and you sin in a time when nobody goes out on the street after 5 o'clock, after 6 o'clock, if there's such a thing, today's there's such a thing, but Kapunim wants is avad the kesser sin lecht. Nowadays, we, at least by us chassidim, which would sin b'fnim b'toch habayis, is nishdu de halucha. Avad the zmano is the house geblieben that you should sin when it's the zman. But lamaisa, Bizmana Gemara, when we used to sin outside, and it was eftich l'regel manashik, you couldn't sin to make a bracha. It's a bracha levatula. But Bizmana says in al achroinam that we sin b'fnim, and the iker basum nisa is for your family, and therefore you could sin the whole night. You could sin the whole night whenever you if you didn't sin 3 o'clock in the morning, you could sin, but Shtayt in the Chroinam that if you have a family, you should wake up your family. Because at least it's our Pesim and Issa when you have a family. If you're alone, then you can sin 3 o'clock in the morning all night, because even though you don't have a family. Weil the Hasish family. Once you have a family, it should be Pesim and Issa for a family, then is dua Indian you should wake up the family. And it's a Shvat Negaya. It's Negaya when people come back from a Hanukkah party or wherever it should be, Chanukah, and the one that's over here when they come back. So if the family is going to be awake, you're up, then you can sin when you come back. Met bald te reden, wenn man voort weg, wenn man zal sin früher später, but Akapurim, dort is the guy in the kid. So again, we sin indoors, is the Ikar Pasimanis is for the family, you could sin all night, although that like you should sin on time. The Litvisha, which sin outdoors, after it's a time, 11 o'clock at night, when nobody, especially in Kingston, 11 o'clock at night, nobody walks outside, then you cannot make a bracha anymore. You can sin. But there's no way to make a bracha. If you sin inside, then you could make bracha. What?
Outside you by the window?
The people who sinned outside of the door.
They're like a box.
They have a box, like an extra roll.
By the window.
If your meaning is to lie by the window, is what's in the Nikida? Pesimin is for the gas or the Pesimin is for you? Both. And this is last week I mentioned it.
So that's why.
Last week, I'll go back in a minute. Last week I mentioned a person who lives in an apartment building, which apartment building is Chuf Amas, it's higher than Chuf Amas. In the Luch is Shulchan Aruch, Nair Shabbos, which Nair Chanukah, which is Lamalim Chuf Amas, and Nishoytzigven. So you are on the 7th floor in an apartment building. Yeah? So could you tzint over there? It's Lamalim Chuf Amas. So some points can say no, don't tzint. It's Lamalim Chuf Amas. Only if you tzint inside, then you tzint by the door. But Rav Osner writes that you should tzint, you could tzint, it's not a problem. Because it says, Sof Kesov, Iker Pasim Anisa is also for the family. Since Bezeit Eskali Yisrael, a lot of people tzint inside, so Iker Pasim Anisa is for the family. So therefore, even a person which sits by the window, hat auch Yoitze gewehen. Because Sof Kesov, Afil Olam Mazugan, at the Haftish Yoitze gewehen, it's outside, so Pasim Anisa for the family. And rather, this is what Rav Osner writes, rather you should sit by the door if your minig is by the window, because at least by the window you have some pesimis also for the gas. Staka nicht like because it's too high, but some pesimis is too for the gas. So therefore, he writes, rather sit by the window on the 7th floor, when by the door. Even we don't hold like that, because by the minig, by Chassidim, by Chalik, the minig, dafka by the tir. But the people who do have the minig, to tin by the window, even if it's the 7th floor, you can tin and make it with a bracha. Pasaf Kasav is a Svabayne. This is what you just mentioned, that when it comes to the window, it's the Simanis for both of them.
Light outside the door at 11 o'clock at night if he wakes his family up.
If he wakes his family up?
He wakes up all the kids and slept from outside.
Simanis is out for the outside. Dafka for the outside.
So the house is for the family?
9. So it's Ikif outside. That's why it's in the outside. Because the time is Vana Gemura. If a person is Vana Gemura, go out with your family. Territories the Megahalda the Ikif is for outside. So they have a problem.
You see that another house is also tied with the shukah?
The what?
Another building across from yours, so people can see you.
You can see you over there 11 o'clock at night. Everybody's sleeping.
So
Nobody's up. In Kings, nobody's up at 11 o'clock. It's eye. Nicht du wer.
That's not a funny question. A person's on a 7th story of an apartment building.
Yeah.
Nowadays, usually under apartment buildings, so you have a tremendous amount of humidity.
If you're in a complex of buildings.
The person is not just considered either the shukah.
If you know that they're up. Okay. Nice. Cheshem. Okay.
If you're lighting a public menorah, is there like a time where you don't have to make a bracha anymore?
In any case, you do it when you have 10 people. It's not you don't make a bracha b'chlal. If you don't have a public menorah, if you don't have, and you won't be 10 people together, you don't make a bracha b'chlal. This is it has to be in a time that you'll have 10 people. It's not. Du hast dich schon der Schale. Frozen mitzaraf, du zal frozen are also mitzaraf. It's the guy in the shul. The shul is the guy when you tin Friday in shul. Yeah, you tin lech. If you don't have 10 people, so it's dagram some week nach roinem. Could you make a brucha? Can you make a brucha? It's a mungabrum kim told you could make a brucha because after all, when Kabbalah Shabbos will come, then you're going to have 10 people. Then it's fine. So if it's a way, it's a place which you're not going to have 10 people, which you're going to see not 10 people, one and another one, the cars are going to go. Then you don't make a bracha. Now a person which is turid, yeah, he cannot. He's working. Let's say so. He's two options, or he could leave and tint only miplaga mincha because by the evet is the locha is you can tint miplaga mincha. But the evet if a mensch is a tzorich gudel. A person can sit with Plaga Mincha. What's Plaga Mincha? An hour and a quarter before the Shkia. An hour and a quarter before Tes. The Alter Rebbe Paskins an hour and a quarter before Shkia. Chama. Be'toirech Gudel, you could send lech. It is auch Stadt Negaya, a person which leaves to airport. Yeah? And when it comes to Zman of Lukas Nairas, he has to be on the way. So if he leaves his house mi Plaga Mincha, from Plaga Mincha, he should send Plaga Mincha, put in enough oil, it should burn till half an hour after Tzesek Chuvim, and then he could leave. But the person has the option, or he could send Miflaga Mincha, or he could send 12 o'clock at night, then he could send. Is do how to do it. And the person can say that if you have a family, and the family will be up 12 o'clock at night, is rather push it off till 12 o'clock at night, then you should send Plaga Mincha, because this is not Abadi Eivet. If you send it before Plaga Mincha, as soon as you give in the mitzvah, you have to just push, and have to send regularly again with a bracha. For Plaga Mincha, it's always the klal. For Plaga Mincha, it's not considered the klal Laila, even Tzorech Gudel. It's the same as Erev Shabbos. If a person send lech Erev Shabbos, for Plaga Mincha, so the Alter Rebbe passed it that it's not Erev Shabbos. You have to send again with a bracha. Even for Plaga Mincha, if you Makabah Shabbos, the Alter Rebbe passed clearly that if it's before Plaga Mincha, it's a shaykh. So for Plaga Mincha, there's no such thing as sin. If it's after Plaga Mincha, I said you could do it, and it's very important to know, because sometimes again people leave for business trips or whatever it should be, and they have to have a flight at 9 o'clock at night. They have to be 3 hours before. Then at least you can send for Plaga Mincha. A person which forgot to sin, or he's in a place that he couldn't sin, let's say the second night, when it comes the third night, he doesn't sin second night. You skip the night, and you don't put on 3 lecht. You don't put on hashluma from the yesterday night. If a person in the third night, he has only 2 licht. Happens to be, he's in Russia, Siberia, he has 2 lech. Should it sin 2 lech, or should it sin only 1 lech? Some persons say only 1 lech, because that's the mitzvah. So, if you anyway is not going to be Mekayim the mitzvah properly, then don't sin the second. Now it's night 3, Lail Gimel. Why should you sin 2 lech? Because then the kid says what it is, that the reason why I want to be Moisef is nicht toisvet or I want to be like the night where we are. It's like Lamed Gimel, I have to put on 3 lech. Lamed Dalet lech. But the other Achorim wants to say no. Now, if you have the second, third, and you have 2 lech, at least put on 2 lech, not 1. Weil du willst dich als Moses an mehr, the Mahadam is a Moses an in a lech. The Master Bepoel is such a case. Der Klal, the Achorim am ungenehmen. The first sheet that you put on and read one, we uns is an andere. After it burned for a half an hour, me'iker halucha, you could just blow it out. But sikadayim is machnat nai. So no, that even you don't need to. It should burn more than half an hour. If you put it on and you want it to burn longer, das ist nicht auslöschen after half an hour. Other Achorim say it's not a problem, even if Shgat kan kavuna after half an hour, it's schon killing nicht die mitzvah auslöschen. The Master comes Achorim that if a person wants to blow it out, then it's a machanat nai kili. Zinum is going to blow it out after half an hour. This is the guy again. People want to sin, stay half an hour, and right after they want to leave the house. A lot of people do not want to leave ungetin in the lech in a house, fire hazardous. So therefore, if you have in mind that I'm leaving, you're going to leave that night, you have in mind that I'm going to blow out after half an hour, then is an Ishlukan problem, and you could blow it out. Another wichtig loch is, the loch is
blowing it out, not having it tonight, blowing it out, and then putting it back on when you come back home.
Dus kerst ook niet.
But you need to put it out at night. Does it help? Meaning, I didn't make it tonight, now I have to leave. It's half an hour. I'll put it out, but I know when I come home in 2 hours, I'll do
the Ikke problem with the Neinishkanai is because it's maximum in the oil from mitzvah. Jetzt, das maximum in the Shem mitzvah. Was ist gemacht, Kili, es ist reingegeben von Ner Shabbos, Ner Chanike. So, if you put it on, hast du kein problem. Du hast alle dienen, du machst alle dienen, you're not nehene mehr oil, ich gedoime, so kannst du ziehen. The Chronim are all mashmis azoi. We know, after half an hour, oil which even moist rashemen shebener, you have to burn. You can't use it. It comes after Chanukah. After Chanukah, stays some oil in the krigelach. You cannot use it. You don't use it. You burn it. Macht a ganze Adluka, das Chaneke. You burn it, the ganze Mitzvah, is aber Mitzvah Eches. What? No, not the bottle. No, for sure not. Whatever you put it in the cup. Then if it burns out, not always it burns out. Sometimes, after 2 hours, it stays a third. It gets stay. It depends which oil you have. It depends how much you spend on oil, basically. That's it. If you have good oil or not good oil. If you have pure oil, usually burns out. Good. The best. Okay. Akabun lama tzirigay tzidalocha. 50 minutes. Yeah, but half the hour of the noch tzesik chum. That's the nikida. The ikar nikida, as we mentioned before, that's why we have 50 minutes, because half an hour after tzesik chum. After it finishes, you cannot use it. But if you make it nigh, that after half an hour basically is the sholish Hashem mitzvah, is that whatever oil finished blab tiber, you could still use. Because basically, as you schmeckt from the mitzvah, only for the half an hour. So, I have gesehen, a shine chap, that people, but then, after half an hour it burns, there's no mitzvah by it. There's no mitzvah b'chlal. Dus toch bij jou mekaar is de mitzvah. Dus dan, hidere mitzvah ze brengt langer. So you make it nigh, I max only the licht, which I'm going to use, only the oil which I'm going to use when it's going to burn. Once it's not going to stop burning, then, so therefore, the rest of the licht can man use it.
You throw it out, or you have to burn it up?
No. When? B'chlal?
After
if it's al-shabach katnai, you burn it. This is you burn it.
But challah we also know you can burn, but we can also throw it in the garbage.
You can also throw it in the garbage. Okay.
I'm asking, can you throw the oil in the garbage too?
So steht the postka hoidim is avod b'mitzvah chuda, is avod b'mitzvah chrina. And you burn together with the lulav, erev paisach,
people mention
halt the people in the neger, och the ganze year. Okay. Good. What? Okay. Okay, let's go over to the halachas with Lukas Nerchanik Lemisha Lo Nimtze Babais. As I mentioned last week, Mitzvahs Nerchanik is a Chovis Abais and Chovis Gavra. Chovis Abais means the house should have lecht. Chovis Gavra means even if you don't have a house, you are homeless. Nechals do a mitzvah, a Chovis Gavra you should sin. Still do a mitzvah Chovis Gavra you should sin. How you fulfill this mitzvah? You can fulfill it a lot of ways. But one of the ways is, you go to someone, you give him a quarter, as much as how much a Shuvah Prita is. I don't know exactly today's day how much a Shuvah Prita is, but you give him, say, a quarter is for sure a Shuvah Prita. Used to be once a nickel, but afterwards they said that nickel is to Shuvah Prita, so it's about 15 cents. A quarter, you give him a quarter, and you're coin oil from this man. Next to his what?
His quarters where he sleeps.
Who could do it?
Home again.
Where does he live? Is he in the park? In the garden? No. It's not a house. Has to be a house. That's not a house. It's a house. As I mentioned, a house.
But no one's renting their house.
But start to the pit. About the end is in his house.
Letting him into their house.
It's fine. But the Baal starts with a mitzvah, since the balabus sin is a sachayli as is achayli. Fine. Now, achsanua means a person which is not at home. He is in a hotel. He left for Chanukah. He himself is the halacha like this: if his wife sins, because again his wife had the zol b'chiv as him. So women are mechiv to sin the same as the man. Novas then, when the husband sins, automatically everybody is a part of the sinning. But be'etzem she's mechiv. Now if he's in a hotel, he went to Thailand, and basically he doesn't know where to sin. He doesn't know other is on a plane. If he has a wife which sins left in his house, be'etzem ikradin doesn't have to do anything. What? No, it doesn't have to be the same time. It doesn't have to be the same time zone. Even if it's a different time zone, Shabbos mit Wochen, after Pekin, is a Shemizalma mit dachten wir für the Rabbos Shabbos Sochet. Now Mishnah Luchas Shabbos Sochet. That doesn't have to be the same time zone. Madlik Rule Babais is he in this man versus Chanukah Lech is automatisch he becomes nifter with that nekida. If a person does not know if his wife is going to sin, I didn't tell him, ich habe nicht gesagt, dass she should sin, and has a suffolk, steigt in the Terezuv, we have eine Idee über Birrer, he should sin whatever, if he can, if he's in a place which he can sin, they make a bracha. Sharatin is mafapik with them, Sharatin brings down Tremsadation, as an issue poshet, that only when he knows for sure she doesn't sin, but if not, as a sinden, aber akapunam, la maisa, can't sin, can't sin. And again, that is not only his wife, afila ich mit bnai bayis is auch genegit. So even if bnai bayis sins in that house, hat yoytiger ochet.
So you go on an airplane, miss the whole lighting.
Yeah. But Balta Bazain, as the extra mitzvah, that if you can, you should make sure to see Hadlukas Na'ah. You should see a light. You should see Chanukah Lech. So if you're in a place which basically you're not on a plane, there's no such thing you should see. But if you are in a place which you could have the option of you can't sin what I just but you could go out and drive in the street and see Ner Chanukah, macht man abrucha, shu'usa nisr lavisaini, and if it's the third night, you make even a shechayon. Azoivat. Akapunam. That's Berchas Haroya. That's extra brucha Berchas Haroya. As du in the benoisef, chotchig as the mitzvot of Mekayim gemein, weil man liegt on the Babaiser, is du extra din of Berchas Haroya.
I got someone for 3 weeks.
Okay.
Does he have to light in the hotel where he's staying, or?
Yes, of course. Not 3 days, even 1 day. Why you have 3 weeks? If a person left, he doesn't have a wife.
When did he get with his wife?
But liken nur beweisen. Bei Ikra din, if your wife sins, hat Yosef in the 8 mitzvahs of Mekayim gemein. Even if for 3 weeks notice, that's the guy. Is it will mitzad mahadra? He should sin. Will mitzad nicht mitzad mahadra? Then Sinish adin in Medikun Ubayis is a petor. No, was then I can machazan. As I mentioned when I spoke, there's such thing as silik. A person can machazan. I will nicht heute zusammen mit meiner Frau. Sure, that's something else. I can machazan. I want to do my mitzvah myself. Then he gets into himself. But if a person is up in a place where he can't not sin, then if his wife sins, then it's not a problem. That's the easiest thing which happens. If a person is on an airplane and he cannot sin, once he has a wife at home and sins, that's the best thing. But it happens a lot of times in the whole family goes. The whole family goes. Don't have some problem. They have to leave 2 o'clock in the afternoon, going to the airport. And what then? They won't be on an airplane. What should they do? If it's before Plage Mincha, you should send a shliach in your house. Somebody should send kilil b'shlichos. Ja, could call too. Ja, en Say shlich could be a shlich. It's interessant to do the halten, for instance, of Cheskel Road, and who else I saw another one from the Teresa Chroinim wants to say that if don't do it because they're gonna arrest you. But they said if you get put on a lecht in the airplane, even for a minute, is also fine. Even with the soul slashing. Kedai, somebody else should the soul slashing, but even if you lash it, also good. Andere kleine dingen zich ermee. So if the Mrs. Lach slashing, but again, don't do it because the TFA is going to arrest you right away. What? When once upon a time when you used to smoke, you were able to smoke on the airplane. Then What? Airport has no problem. In airport is a bit a problem. Es do was a verlassen sich in a cases what taken is keine mechanisch. So if you go into a room, Chabar house, the Chabar house and you eat something over there, it's illi, there's the muka machila. Okay. Yeah. A person which I'm at Lukum Babaisa. Again, a person who doesn't have a wife. What does he do? I'm at Lukum Babaisa. He's not married. So now he sleeps by someone. Now when that person sins a lech, so therefore, then he comes. You have to give him a penny, a quarter. I mean, you have to give him be makna, or you don't have to give him. If he's makna Shiva Prita from his oil for you, that's fine. In the Achronim Zug, you should make a kinyan. Vala nicht, we want you, the oil should be yours. So at least you should pick up the oil. Andere will sagen, if you pay a quarter, is although mit Rabunan is nicht Moes Koina, but what with the Reise Moes Koina is, verlacht man sich auf der Halucha, that Moes Koina mit der Reise, and therefore, man yours again. Aber andere sagen, you should make Pashta Kinyan. Pashta Kinyan, you should pick up a bit of the oil, to make a Kinyan, whom heilig in the Lech, and therefore, also bist the Koina, the Lech.
But he's a famous guy. Why shouldn't he just light in the person's house?
If he should, yes, so can, or hat eigene Zimmer, hat kein Problem. Man will sagen, man kann. Ob will sagen, man Tacke, also wie man wie jede Sache. Nein, nicht auf einem Hadern. Ob will zinnen oder kann zinnen, whatever, hat eigene Zimmer, kann Tacke zinnen.
It has to be in his own room. He can't be with everybody else.
Do what?
If I'm a guest by somebody,
yes,
it's Hanukkah.
Yeah.
I shouldn't light them in their house.
Das ist ja Sinn. No, was ist das denn? Aber die Sache ist, als sie sagt, da kommt es gar nicht gesagt. Sie kommt gerade ja, kannst du zusammen mit Aprita. Kannst du zusammen mit Aprita. Sie ist doch euch bei. The house not yours. Sie ist doch euch bei. Normally, bis man yourself.
You're with your whole family by somebody, so you have to give up shuttle for everybody. You just one.
Oh. No, it's not a joke. It's a very nice shala. My brother, I have a brother in Monsi, he has a sefer Shilas Chaim and Chanukah, and he has a whole mamar on this kid, and he holds that a mishtatev b'prita has to be in the oil for as much as people you want to be mishtatev. You have to have a shiva b'prita oil that much. That means if you tend, you have a one bottle of oil, yeah, and you use it 3/4 of the bottle you use for your lech. And you don't have that much oil left, then you can only be mishtatev b'prita for how many? You have to have enough. As man so kennen zinnen vergutien, also noch mehr. Mishtatev b'prita, ich kann auch kaufen, als es darf sein oil for chutzi shu. If you don't have enough oil for chutzi shu, and he wants to say, no, any oil, and he wants to say, no, nicht dus the word. You have to have oil. Is the kuda is you have to have oil, but when you give a status of prita, you have to be koina oil for as much as you could sin for a half an hour. So if you have a bottle of oil, so you're limited how much oil you have for a half an hour. But I just want to make it clear, not everybody agrees with this ofti. Not everybody agrees with ofti. As Sadav Zan Taka, a status of prita, a chutzi shu, mamash for each. But Akapunam, she gebot, it is gebot, a hot sacharais, but again.
Fine. I think you do chayrot levoid.
Chayrot levoid. Okay. Yes, a person which is achsanu and he lives by someone and he eats over there. Pashida eats or he comes for 8 days. Yeah, a child comes to his father's house. I'm about to come for one seed. Child comes for his father's house and for 8 days, even though he lives next door, can dort nicht sin. Beter mit der Chalik von dabei, darf nicht sin. Chalik bleiben nur als Mahadam. Now, in some of the machloikes, what's the iker where you sin? Is the mukam achile iker or mukam ashen iker? For instance, a person who sleeps at home, or who eats by a restaurant. You know, a person has a home where he sleeps, he's always in a restaurant. Where should it sin? Should it sin in his house? Or should it sin in B'mukum Achila? Yeah, Shayin Inshallah. They're such Eden. So again, das ist nur Eden. Was essen Allah? Schluft Hotel Estenheim. Okay. But Musman was gewesen ein Problem für Chashuda. Musman was gewesen Chashuda used to sin outdoors. And the Chazal have weggestellt as if you have 2 doors, you have to sin by both doors because there's a chashad that people will think it's 2 apartments and they won't even know that they think that the Ayid is not, you know, there's a Mezuz over there, nobody sins Chanukah left. Mazung Ayid is Mazal, so by Mitzvah Chanukah, he doesn't sin. He's going to Klal v'chashuda. He had to sin the 2 doors. In such a case, you have to sin b'mukum ha'yishina, noch b'mukum ha'chila, because als chashash, because you have a house. Aber today's day, zogen nach Roinem, that Iker ad Lukas Neiris is b'fnim, and therefore, is the Ju'ah v'ach v'chashuda. In such a case, a person which is in a hotel, and sleeps in his house, according to the post-Puskas Insnamaru, some Chloiks again, Chloiks Achroinim, Remum, and the Terezuov, Insnamaru, Iker is Mukma Yishina, dort soll es in Lech. Selbe Sache wird sagen, auch at the Buchram in Yeshiva. Buchel is in a yeshiva, they should have a dormitory. Yeah? And he has a dormitory, a room, he with his friend, whatever. But they eat b'mukim tziburi, and they eat in a dining room. Although he eats in yeshiva, but sof it's nicht zamukim. It's zamukim, it's nicht zamukim. It's kimst around the erste Geist raus. No, wir sehen achronim zugen, as Razal Fall, wie yeshiva bucher, die willst man soll zin in mukim ashina, zost telefuches essen over there ein Sida. So we werden ook op zo'n schikkel heilige mukim achila. So zijn we involved. Meilen, weet je toch, mukim achila. What? Super snack is not enough. Okay. Schrijf me zo'n les dort nach asida, ariche, arucha. Super snack. Some people that's their supper. You know.
So why can't you light at a party then?
In a
party.
Oh, party is a zweite Schale. Ich geredet nur erst am Masada oder in Yeshiva. You're talking about people who eat constantly. That's the Mukim Achila. Going to a party, dort have to andere Schale. The Terezuv, al-Chadum is the gebod. The Terezuv writes, interesting thing. Terezuv writes, if a person, lass mich uns am nicht früher machen das dumme. B'nai Bayis, the reason when I'm eating with someone, yeah, I'm eating with someone, where because I'm a B'nai Bayis. In order to be a B'nai Bayis, you have to be there all 8 days. It's not like Shabbos, that if you eat Friday night over there, as we spoke already once, you eat Friday night, one Seder you go to someone else, is me'ikir adin, as the Yotze gewein, bis the Chaylik B'nai Bayis, and you don't have to sin. So no guy tells Silik. Chanukah is like the Mishbiri Rekrul, mit andere Chroine, you have to be there, da werden ganz Chanukah, darf es werden a Kvias. So such a case, if I'm going to a Hanukkah party, so in such a case, what the Chrochonish darf Yotze sein. But the Terezuv like tea, that if you're going, if you're eating in one place, and you're sleeping in other place, and it's the same Eid, so therefore it's the same city, so then you should go home and send where you sleep. That means if you're going, you have your parents living the same in Crown Heights, and you live in Crown Heights, your parents live in Crown Heights, and your parents live in Kingston, you live in Kingston, you're going for supper, then, although you have to go early, and as you can send Ma'aseh B'Shetia, then wait till afterwards, and send once you come home, because just send Oise Mukim. Like the Wort Ram Be'ir, Oise Ir. Yes, the Schale is Bedaf oder nicht. So as Zaira Sache wants to say, Sistuli, the Chaznish hat gehalten, the Ferish Klur, as Shtetin. Even if I go, for instance, from here, I'm going to Kingston, to Crown Heights, and I'm there for Hanukkah party, and I'm coming back the same night, is rather you should don't send where you are, rather when you come back, send over when you come back. K'mivin Kedayam is lovek the family, as I mentioned before, was testimonies for the family, and Suzan Azam Ezach, that you should send there. And a lot of Achronim go according to this. But there are some Achronim which want to be Madayik, that if it's Be'ir Acheres, is this okay? Since the Taz gekwetscht be'oise Ir, that means it's nicht schwere Zach. Why do you have to send the place where you eat? You have a place where you have a bayis. So go, Zamach, have the place, be done by. The host have an apartment. Why should you eat where you go now for a Hanukkah party temporarily? Go send. So nicht kein große Sachen. Is the andere Madaik, as Thomas is a Tirchi Gedoyla. So therefore, you could send where you are, and even in one night. Let me make it clear. Said no, and if you come back in a night, you should do it and send when you come back. But the Arsa Machronim would say, once you are in a different city, it's not a problem.
You come back early.
Even we come back 1 o'clock, but soft to soft, dosi baisoy. And since we send inside, in the Pesimanis is Iker for your family, so you send 1 o'clock at night. Do when you come back and everybody's sleeping, you have to make them up, which is, in such a case. Every time when it's Shas Chak, what is the word of the Tirzuv? Same ear, not ear. The word is, if you can do it, it's not a big deal. But if for instance, It's a Torah Gudel, then you could be Michael. If it's a Torah Gudel to wake up all your children, then you could sin where you are. Oy me guy with shittas as Torah Gudel, im es bedaik the Terzuf diek is a richtige diek, then you could be Michael and sin tak that with the guys. But again,
is it better to get someone else to light in your house?
Somebody else?
Yeah.
Wie eine Trick kommen in
coming at night, but it's going to be coming at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Machen a schlicht, the in your house. Do was halt also. So as halt also, but like a plug mincha. That if you need to go away plug mincha before after plug mincha, rather make a schlicht in the zmanoi, then you should sin the plug mincha. But the mincha is not about the Eved. By us, if the people were sleeping, Mr. Thomas is Kenzan as to get in our house.
What about the opposite?
But if you can have them up just by lighting, because usually when you take the children out of the car, they in a minute, no? I have got kinder a lot of years, so I don't remember. But okay, hast du schon? Ich denke nicht. Hast du pur sein auf? Ist a Persimmon. In such a case, you could do it. But that's
what about the opposite? I'm leaving here at 5 o'clock to go to Crown Heights.
And 5 o'clock is when? What is it? After plug mincha?
It's around before she gets right around Tezgachov.
Then sin.
But I don't want to put it out. I should like better here. Put it out and go.
Sicher, such a case for sure. You have no other option. No, hast du keine Option. Du dann beißt. That's your house.
But from now for the next 4 days, my bike is being Crown Heights.
Nein, aber jetzt bist du, beschaf das Mann hat Luke, bist du Mechiv, du zu ziehen. Kennst du schon in der Nacht? Man kennt es in der Nacht, aber das ist doch mit, wenn ich beginne. Mit 2 ist mir kein Chammer. Na, warte, aber die Ewe, da muss ich geziehen, kann man eine ganze Nacht, was passieren ist, weil man dabei ist. Aber warte, once es gekommen, das Mann hat Luke, there's no hat that you should leave without sinning. You want to stay half an hour? You don't stay half an hour. Sin the shooting, guy weg. Kannst schon flashen. But at least, guy, leave. You don't have to. So there's kein Chiv min abdin, you should stay half an hour over there. So I'm in Chassidem. Sie hat am Akkord in the Friedige, as I mentioned, in Minig of Haini. But there's kein Chiv, so kannst du Michael sein, weil du willst mit keinem seiner Minig. So therefore, no. Put it on, and leave.
You should put it out, you shouldn't put it out.
You can't put it out. It's betoch as man not looking. So still half an hour, has to burn half an hour. What?
We're not worried about Sakana, if you're worried, you have to stay.
If you want to stay, you can't scream with Alucha. You can't play around with Alucha. The Alucha has to be half an hour after Shkia. After Tzasik Chum. If you're afraid of 5, stay home and watch it. Or make such cases. After half an hour, you should get the Alucha which I mentioned before. The Machsat now you wanna blow it out, that's fine. After half an hour, you blow it out. That's alles was is beoisenach. What is if you went for Shabbos? What is if you went for Shabbos to your parents? Yeah? And you come and go Matzah Shabbos. Could I sin Bezman right Matzah Shabbos and come home? Or no, I should sin all the way when I come home at night. Is over here, even the Achroinim in one night, they will say that you should come back and sin when you come back. Once the Shabbos is given Baischu, sie geworden dann Baischu. Shabbos is geworden Baischu. So till you leave, it's still Baischu. In such a case, most of the Achroinim will hold, you should sin right away Matzah Shabbos where you are, and you don't have to wait till you come back. The Chazon Ish, he himself, doesn't hold like that. He always he is very extreme with this. He says always you have to come back sin when you come back. So even Matzah Shabbos, don't sin Matzah Shabbos. You come back 1 o'clock at night, sin then. But over here, is a Rav Achroinim, how as you could sin there. So let's just sum it up there, Nikida. When you leave for Kranach for Shabbos, for instance, you leave to your parents for Shabbos, yeah, and you're going to be there for Shabbos, then Matzah Shabbos, it comes Matzah Shabbos, you should sin right away, lecht. Don't wait till you come back late, Kinder in the shlufen, don't come back. If you leave to New York, let's say tonight, that means after you sinned, first night you sinned lecht, you leave to New York, and you plan to stay also overnight. You're going to eat there, you're going to stay overnight, and you're going to leave the second night after Zmanat Luka. You could also sin where you are, because again, once you slept there and you ate there, this night doesn't stop the Hadluka. The Baischu doesn't stop, and then you could sin once you come back. If If you're there just for one night, you're coming back. Again, according to the Tirazuv L'choira, it shouldn't be a problem. Again, if you left, let's say you left far as Manadluka, before Plag Mincha, because again, once it comes Manadluka, you have no right to leave. But you left, let's say, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, you want the Crown night, and you're coming back the same night. Such a case, Homerins, a Welt mit Achroinum, which you want to say you sin only when you come back at night, and there are some, and not some more, a nice few, which hold that Medai from the Terezuov, that sin Terezuov will be Iracher is different. This is the Iracher, that means Tzorech Gudel, and Tzorech Gudel, then you could sin there and not sin when you come at night. But again, this is Shentuli, what's Merat Big Tzorech, and there, this is when you leave for one day. If you leave for Shabbos, then there's no question about it.
Now, if your wife is staying home,
then all the problems will solve. Because once she lies, then now if you're in a place where you want to sin because Mahadran, fine, why not? And then you can make a bracha. Everything. I'll go so go when you naheim and I have a child which nifted and as Mahadran he can sin. So if your wife sins and you want to. I don't want to be with my wife sin, and I have a room, let's say, in a hotel where I'm eating and sleeping over there. There's no problem.
If you're going to a party,
but if you are
going to the party with the kids to New York,
yeah.
Your wife is staying home.
She could lie. She
light there, but she's lighting to the house, and you could light wherever you are.
Yeah. It's not only you. You know what to remind me of the child, which asked his father. The father says, "We're going on vacation." So the children ask in the car. They ask him, what is vacation? He says, we're going to a hotel. We don't have to cook over there. Nothing to cook. We don't have to make our beds. We don't have to clean after us. There's a person. Everything is missing. That's vacation. So one child picks up his hand and says, Tati, so why is mommy coming along? You sound like that. Everybody goes to Hanukkah party, the father and the children, and the father bleibt naheim zum Lech. They should go to therapy right away.
It's the biggest vacation.
There's what?
For her, it's the biggest vacation.
When you go to the Acheres,
you
need to let me eat, or you just let me do it?
No, where you eat. Mukha machila, where do we eat? Can't you stammeranki met hosen light? But mukha machila, if you're going to your parents and you're going to eat that over there, so that's now mukha machila over there. Yeah, of course.
The same law would apply for persons about Shuvah and his wife. He can't rely on his wife to like she won't, or he doesn't know if she will.
Okay.
So he makes sure to do it even if he's going somewhere she's not.
Okay.
Either she's not going to, or
then he should lie. He should lie where he eats, where he's going to stay. Yeah. Everybody. Yeah. And then where he can stay. A person is in an airplane, as I mentioned before. You have a problem. But what is if a person is in a car? He drives in a car. It's interesting halacha. A person drives it all night. He leaves before Plag Mincha, and he has to drive, to Florida. He has to fly, drive 18 hours. Yeah. What does he do? Now, like Trilla, you don't leave before the Zman Adluka. But let's say you have to leave before the Zman Adluka, and you stay in the car. Now, if you have a family, you can take out the hotel, and you're going to sleep there, you're going to eat there. It's not a problem. You tint over there because he has bicycle. But if you don't have, there are some people who sleep in the car. Which that's the. Could you sin over there or Rucha not sin over Rucha? It's doch das feine Schmiss nach Reunem. Some want to say you can't because it's not a bias. Bias has to be Dalat Adalat, has to be a Surah Tzvocham. So therefore, it's not a bias, so you cannot sin. But a Kapura Ribbe, the Ribbe von our Achroinim, contemporary Achroinim, which Mizalm and Andra, says as in the Ner Chanike, in Ishdu of Din, that it has to be Dalat Adalat. So is the Din from bias, wie ba Marka, so is the Din as wie ba Mazizah has to be Dalat Adalat, it has to be 10 Tzvocham. Since all of our cars have 10 Tfuchim in the car, usually, for today's day we have SUVs, whatever it is. But Maila, kannst du zinnen in the car. Du sie jetzt dann beischu. Jetzt dann bei. It's a gebot of Majan Roof has a shal if you could sin on a train. Once upon a time, it wasn't a problem to smoke on a train or on an airplane. So then, it was a shal if you could put on the Chanukah at a cabin. And Majan Roof says yes. Although you had a tiny room, which didn't have Dalat, Majan Roof says, it's okay, you could sin over there, it's not a problem. It's a Surah Tfuchim. So based on that, I'm not talking somebody has a mobile home. But the person has a car, and all the cars are basically tzei tfucham, even though it's not dalat adalat. You could sin if you don't have anywhere where to sin. You could sin in the car, but not electric menorah, pashta menorah, which is mobile home is a mamash haba. It's dalat adalat, it's Allah luchas. Now, by the way, with electric, what? By the door, you can sin by the door. Why not? If it's not going to burn out. Yeah, right. If you have a box, if you don't have a box, then but you cannot yoytze Chanukah. You cannot be yoytze with the electric. But let me just make it clear. Although the Arachronim, which want to say that Nair Shabbos can be yoytze with the electric, although is the Mekidus says we want it should be light. But when since you have light, I don't care what it should be. But when it comes to the Chanukah, will man in Zazan a ner. It has to be a ner, and therefore. Menish yoytze mit avadas agit zach ich have a karmenoide and the emazig pasim nisa noch mal der Indian is a emes starke Indian aber gadaber mit yoytze an da lucha in menish yoytze when you have which is not fire mamish. What? No, it has to be madikun und beweisen. No, what doing what? Electric menorah? No. It's good. Why not? Today's day. You have to fight the choshech of kratzmach. You have to fight with Chanukah. But aber sie tun dienen, wo es gesagt mal weggestellt. Das kann man machen. Das kann man sich eigene Luchas.
I'm saying not to, if you're going to put it there, they should realize that after you go home. Don't do this.
Yeah, if you go home, you can sin. Or if you have your wife or your husband, so anybody sitting there, that's fine. That's fine.
If you put a light on, people will think that this is the way to do the mitzvah. They will think that you do it to them. You put a light on your car.
So therefore, you shouldn't put it that light menorah. This is what you want to say?
Yeah, I'm saying if you visit someone in the hospital and they really want menorah, they're not pro, but they want menorah. So the best thing to do is electric. So, okay, good. And then when they go home, they'll continue with electric. They won't realize.
If you tell them as basically, over in hospital it's okay, but the harm, you tell them in the harm it's not the choice again. You gotta tell them. Only for cars.
Symbolism only. That's the real thing.
A chosen has chasan and Chanukah. Yeah, what does he do? That's a cute child. Now again, it's not practical, but today's day, the day is so short, so basically, by the time, the chasen is always after the Zmanat Luka. So then it's not a problem. But let's say, there was always the Oibach Chacham which like to make, what? No, he has to light in the house where he is, his father's house. Yeah. It's 4, what time 4:30 is the Shkia, yeah? So it's in nobody chasen starts 4:30. So it's in his father's house. Why?
Let's presume you are.
Let's presume you are. Okay, let's presume. So this is a chronim have a shmis. What do you do? It's a practical thing which could happen again. It's going to happen. So what do you do now? If it's already plaga mincha, so that's not a problem. It's in plaga mincha, and it's fine. If it is after the chasana, you're going to be home already. And then you can send after the chasana. Again, the shal is auch nor when it's in bechitz. If you sin befnim after the chasana, you come home. Even 3 o'clock in the morning. If you have a mitzvah dance like the chasidim, you come home 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. It's still before the loss. You can always send your newly wed wife is Baruch Hashem around. Alles fine oil. But in the yeshiva world, was it was man ad luka. Zung is a sacha chroim to say that after the chippah, the chassan kala should go home. That you should do that like that. In home, eat something. Zoals we weer naar zijn moeke machila. Wel zo je snoren, moeke machila. This what you did? Oh, and it's do. Oh, ja, doe eens nog dat alle kuruyim. Alle kuruyim. Als ik slaap de groene bak. Do both of them was want to say as the chusen kala can het zinnen in the hall. In the hall, weil jetzt ist this is a book of Achilles, a Masuke Ding, aber the ideal Zachtake ist noch mal, bei uns ist es so, es wird hinten daheim, what is a big deal to life when you come home? Let me just one thing I want to, this is what I think we have a problem, with the spade, in the spade, what are you doing if you want to wash? Don't have some of the problems. Eating before, there's a big problem, you cannot, what?
Only washing the issue?
Washing on besorgen ist Joyser mit ich meine Pirates ist kein Problem, Meat aber halbst du zuerst ein Pass mit dem in Sachen dort hast du eine Probleme. So there was always at the issue of waiting till you tin right away. So wenn dem habe ich gehalten, if a person goes to Hanukkah party in New York, I feel like anybody sich verlassen der so will getrillen I could put him I feel when it's rekommen by Nacht, let's say 10 o'clock at night, which is noch ganz begeistert it's in Lecht, and all the children will be up. Aber ich alles gefühlt, you telling him, you're going to Hanukkah party, but you cannot eat. Kannst du nicht waschen. Ist auch das Zeug Gudel. Ich habe es gesagt. Also wie der Teresuf tanet, das war Zeug Gudel, bei ihr Acheres, ja, then must come and sin of Yanamukim. And what's the reason we said? Because that means Zeug Gudel. So whenever it's, let's say, in the Stuttgart line, for instance, you're going, even you live in Kronis, you go to Kronach, yeah? In the Kessersheim kimmen, you know, I see the Jutia, but it's the Messiva. Ob die Kessersch essen, kann sein, du soll auch sein, ein gewisser Zier, ob es der Terche Gedeule, ob sie du als am Zier, der Terche Gedeule. What? Auf what? Aber der Schäumer, wir sind schon gezinn. Der Schäumer, wir sind schon gezinn. Geist daran der, Nikita. Der Karl hat das doch auch schon gezinn. All your family. What? Alarm clock is auch der ganze Schmiss, das heißt der Schäumer. Ja.
No, let's say somebody goes to the parents' house, the parents light the candles, and they make sure to call them and come up to the light.
Es ist an der Schäumer.
Yeah.
Okay, das ist einfach.